Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ivan and I just wanted to do a quick video on why I got into sim racing. So my whole thing about motorsport started when I was about 15 years old, and I got taken to a racetrack for the first time, and I saw it, and I fell in love with it straight away. But I couldn't do racing at the time because obviously from a financial point of view, and so we went go-karting to a one of those go-kart hire places, and my brother took me there. We said that I was 16, but really I was 15, and we just sort of it took off from there, and I tried it. I really enjoyed it, and after that, really the next step was to get a go-kart, and so I did. I got myself a go-kart, and I saved. I worked every single school holiday, and eventually I got one. And with only one tiny problem, the kart that I actually got at the time was about 16 years old. The engine hadn't anything done to it, and it was essentially it was slow, put it that way, from a competition point of view, but it was enough to get me started. And I guess that's probably the biggest thing about motorsport is people thinking, oh, I got to buy everything brand new. And that's certainly not the case. New is better, obviously, because you know exactly the history of it, what's happened to it, but I got started, and that was my that was now 16 years ago, so 31 now. And when I got started, I loved it. I got right into it. Like, kids were going to parties, and I was going to the racetrack. But what happens over time is obviously, you're getting older, and you start to choose, where do I go next? Because obviously you can't go kart forever, although some people choose to stay in karting for forever. And that's probably where I got stuck. So I continued with karting, and I would come in and out of the sport. And probably the biggest tip that I would give for anybody watching this is, if you're going to do something, just stick at it, and don't start and stop. Because over the last 10 years, I've started and stopped karting for probably about 6 or 7 times, which is, every time it gets harder because, you got to buy everything again, and you got to buy the equipment again. And so plenty of mistakes done over the years, and one of those biggest mistakes is actually stop starting. So definitely don't start something. If you're going to do it properly. But when I started my own company about 2.5 years ago, I ran a social media agency, and it got a lot harder to find the time to go out there on a racetrack. And for probably a good year and a half, I sort of said to myself, oh, eventually I'll get back into it. It's only going to be a matter of time. But probably about 6 months ago, I thought to myself, well, what if I try sim racing, and what if I go actually and do something like iRacing and compete at that level? So like most people that race properly, I guess, and not that this isn't properly, but people that race in real life sort of hesitate for a little bit, and I was one of them. I was like, no, the real thing is better, the G-force, the wind, the thrill, and the risk. But about 3 months ago, I decided that I was gonna give this a go. I already had a Logitech G29, and I had a TV, so I thought to myself, that's good enough. I bought a $400, $600 PC, and I got started. And so probably the biggest thing I'd say is get started. Like, it doesn't matter how you start. Just like I did with a 16-year-old go-kart, is just get started. Do something and get underway. That's the best thing. And I got started with iRacing, and I picked it because of the licensing system, and the fact that there are penalties involved if someone is an idiot out on track. And so I got started, and about 3 months in now, and I decided to upgrade my gear, and I got myself 3 screens. I got a different computer, and I got some Fanatec hardware. I did a video previously on the V3 pedals, the first time that I got them, and then soon I'll do one on the Formula rim and the wheelbase. Because compared to a Logitech G29, it is much better. Now, one of the things about sim racing is that, get started, and, don't delay it. Like, whatever equipment you've got, whatever type of PC you have. One of the things that I would do as a first-time sim racer is I actually probably wouldn't put the headsets on and listen to all the garbage that people are saying out there. If you think about it, in a real world, in a real race car world, you wouldn't hear what the other drivers are saying. You're just focusing on yourself. And especially when you get started, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to crash into people. The last thing you want is to hear people on a headset telling you how bad you are or why you ruined their race. So you just do your thing and just race like you would. The other thing is, when it comes to equipment, there's a lot of talk about, better equipment makes you faster. You need to have the latest stuff. And some people swear by Motion, direct drive wheels and, $1,500 pedals and all that. But the reality is that those things can help. I would not say to you that those things won't help, but they're not going to necessarily make you faster. So you have a better feel, you have a better contact with what the wheel is doing, what the pedals are doing, but that's not necessarily going to make you faster. What's going to make you faster is actually spending the time and actually understanding how you're braking, how you're accelerating, and how you're driving the vehicle, how you might be underdriving or overdriving, understeering, oversteering, going into the corners early, going to the corners late. And so they are the things that are actually going to make you better, not the actual equipment. So the equipment is important. So I can tell you that upgrading from a Logitech G29 to a Fanatec is better. I am faster, but I also know what I'm doing because I've been doing this for about 15 years. So I understand the input that this thing is giving me. I understand that I translate it and then I get faster. Whereas if you're new and if you're thinking in 2020 to start into sim racing and you've never done anything like this before, whether you try a Logitech G29 or whether you drive a direct motion wheel, you're still going to be slow. And there's nothing wrong with that because we are all slow. We all started at some stage at doing anything. If you remember the first time you drove a manual car, you probably stalled it a couple of times, panicked, how do people do this? And now you probably drive it. You got a drink in your hand and you've got your phone. Don't drive and use your phone. But the point is, the gear is not as important as the practice time. So practice, go out there, have fun. And one of the biggest things about sim racing is at the end of the day, it is fun. There is no damage to the vehicle if you crash into a wall 10,000 times, as I've done in the supercars. And the most important aspect of it is that there is a community. And there are people out there that are happy to help, and they're happy to help with setups, they're happy to help with computer troubles. There is forums for just about anything. And so get out there, give it a go. And for me, the reason why I'm doing sim racing is because I can just hop out of the office, home, eat, and then come on and, I'm online and I'm competing again. So for me, it's definitely been a good choice for the last couple of months and something that I think I will continue to do. Whether I go back into traditional racing as well, there's probably a good chance of that because we've all been there, done that. We say that we're not going to do it again and then the right opportunity comes and you do. But for me, this is a fantastic way to hone in on your skill. It's a fantastic way to still compete without the cost of real life tracks. And but there are more people on it, and so the quality of how people race sometimes can be questionable, and there are definitely sometimes where you get crashed out for no reason just because of people are just not taking it as serious as you are. And don't be afraid to be slow. That's probably the biggest one. Be slow at the beginning. It's completely fine to be slow, but eventually you do go faster and faster and faster, and it does get addictive like everything. But I definitely would recommend to hone in on your skill way before starting to upgrade equipment. When you feel that you've gotten to the point where you think you do need better equipment because you've reached a good level, that's probably when I would do it. But to be honest, right now, I have upgraded to the Fanatec. I haven't upgraded to Motion, to the direct drive wheel on purpose because I'm not there yet in the driving. So once I get there in the driving and I'm maximizing this to the full potential, which will probably be a really long time, then I'll go direct drive. But there's no point going straight away into direct drive. You're wasting your money. You're not going to be fast anyway. So you might as well do it on a cheaper equipment and then move on eventually. So hope you like this video, guys. And this is why I got into sim racing. I'm super excited about all this and look forward to share more videos and more times of me out on the track. But for now, thank you so much for watching. And if you did like the video, hit that subscribe button and I look forward to see you on the next video. Ciao, ciao.